going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive. Bringing you guys a week 5 of the NPA. Our team builder here, the Minnesota Vikavolts are taking on Kelly UndertheRadar and the Maryland Torterrapins, and an epic matchup between two teams that are sitting at 3 wins and 1 loss. Obviously, last week was a tough loss for us. I made some tough predictions with Ninetales and the Kingdra, and a lot of people were kind of jumping on me for that, and I do just want to mention that I would have actually one-shot him with Freeze Dry. He thought he could live because he had Assault Vest. I knew I would knock him out with Life Orb. He didn't realize that, and it just turned out to be a bad play on my part, but I don't think that me nasty plotting there was necessarily a bad play, because I really thought that Bronzong was coming in. I felt like that was a really safe option for him, but simultaneously I also realized that with Ninetales alive, had I just Freeze Dry, even if he went to Bronzong, I could have easily went to Mawile, and I had a lot of momentum in the game with Ninetales still. So it was an unnecessary risk, and I probably should have weighed that out. I kind of was torn with the decision, but it cost us the game, so kind of a bummer there. And we've been on a bit of a slide in the APA. I haven't been doing too well lately as well. But this match here, I really want to win. Kelly's a tremendous opponent. He beat me in the playoffs in another league recently, and he's beaten me a few times now in the past. He's a great battler, but you know, it's funny. This is the first time since like a few seasons ago that I actually did mock battles for a game. I did some practice matches and stuff because I really want to try to get this losing streak over. So hopefully we can break that, because I don't want to keep losing. Like, I definitely want to win. And he's got a really tough team. So let's talk about his team. He'll break down what his team is, then I'll talk about what I'm bringing and so on, so forth. So he's got Landorus, Therian, of course, huge offensive threat, can be defensive. There's a chance he doesn't bring it though, as great of a Pokemon as it is, because I do have a lot of things that offensively beat it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he brought it. I think if he does bring it though, he's got to bring some sort of a kind of a creative set, maybe with like either a Z-Fly or, you know, Psychic on it, or Smackdown Earthquake or something like that. I think he'll have to bring some sort of a creative set, or he just like scarfs it. He's got a Celebi, which is a very bulky Grass and Psychic type Pokemon, which I do think is possible he brings for Seismitoad and Weezing. It can also set Stealth Rocks. He doesn't really have a ton of Stealth Rockers outside of Stakataka, so you know, that could be an option there. He could bring Landorus to set Rocks too, but I think Celebi has a decent matchup from his perspective. Ribombee, of course, Sticky Webs, very scary. I faced a couple Sticky Webs teams recently, and they've been tricky for us. I did make a free agent transaction, by the way, to grab Sandslash. I think I told you guys that. Kecleon for Sandslash, Alolan Sandslash. But nevertheless, Ribombee is a huge threat just because of how fast it is and how it can set up Sticky Webs, and offensively it's pretty good with like Quiver Dance and stuff. He's got Alola and Persian, which is a pretty bulky Pokemon because of its Fur Coat ability, most seen like Parting Shot and things like that. Golbat is just a really bulky Eviolite user that can take a lot of hits. It can also remove hazards with Defog. Really not expecting Golbat this week. Ursaring is a heavy hitting normal type. Really benefits from that Guts ability. He can also use Quick Feet and hit pretty hard with Facade in close combats. He's got the Mega Heracross, which is a huge wall-breaking threat. I'm expecting there's a good chance he brings Heracross with Substitute, Rock Blast, Pin Missile, close combat. I think that set is really good against me. Or a Swords Dance variant if he tries to run support with Sticky Webs. Heracross really does run through my team with Sticky Webs up. He's got Thundurus, Therian form as well, so a couple of the genies. This thing is 101 base speed. It can nasty plot, it can agility, like similar to Landorus with Swords Dance and Rock Polish. And it's got an incredible special attack stat. It's also immune to electric type moves because of Volt Absorb, so that's really difficult. Definitely 1,000,000% think he's bringing Thundurus. Vaporeon, I think he's got to bring. It's one of his best ways to deal with Victini. It's a very bulky water type Pokemon that is tough for me to take down. It's also one of the few things that really responds well to Alolan Sandslash, so I think that there's a very good likelihood that he brings Vaporeon. Stakataka, dude, it's so scary. I don't think I ever realized how powerful Stakataka is. Obviously being able to Trick Room and stuff, but its Gyro Ball, because of how slow it is, hits so incredibly hard, coming off an incredible attack stat. It does have a couple core weaknesses in ground and fighting, but despite that, like, it's just so incredibly bulky, and it's really offensively strong. So I gotta be really careful about Stakataka. I think he could bring that, and then Incineroar, I actually think he could bring too. Incineroar gives him a good fighting fire type for Sandslash and for Ninetales, things like that. It also gives him decent. It could be an Assault Vest, or it could be a pivot with U-turn. It gives him a couple different options there. It just really depends on what he thinks I'm gonna bring. It also hits Mega Mawile really hard and resists Sucker Punch, so a couple options there. for why Incineroar is really good. So I really see him he can bring a lot of things. I don't think I'll see Ursaring, Golbat, or Persian, to be perfectly honest, but the rest I do feel like have viability to be brought. So let's talk about our team and kind of how I constructed this. So the first thing I noticed about his team is Hail is really good against him, from my perspective anyway. So I'm gonna bring Ninetales here. We're bringing that Icy Rock Ninetales, which is gonna allow for 8 turns of Hail. We've got Freeze Dry, Aurora Veil, Moonblast, and Hidden Power Fighting. Hidden Power Fighting allows us to hit Stack Attacker relatively well, but more importantly, Moonblast is there for just general attacking. Aurora Veil is to give some support for the rest of the team and give us an opportunity to potentially set up against his Pokemon. So we got the Aurora Veil, we got the Moonblast, we got the HP Fighting, and again, the Freeze Dry is for Vaporeon primarily. You know, offensively, we're faster than Thundurus, we're faster than Celebi, we're faster than Landorus, so it's a kind of a scary Pokemon for him, and I do think that Incineroar could come with an Assault Vest, or like a bulky Vaporeon could come as well, so he's got some options there. But otherwise, we look pretty good with Ninetales. And Alolan and Sandslash, the new member of the team, really love this set. Jolly, Slush Rush, Life Orb. So in Hail, we're going to be double speed. That allows us to outspeed Scarf Thundurus, which is the fastest thing. You know, Ribombee can be faster, and some stuff under Sticky Webs can be faster, but otherwise, we're going to be really quick. Ice Cold Crash, obviously, pretty straightforward what it's for. Aerial Ace for things like Heracross primarily, Earthquake for Stack Attacker and Incineroar, and then Swords Dance. So this original set had Rapid Spin on it. And I realized that in my testing that Swords Dance was so crucial for this team. I feel like there's really opportunities for me to click Swords Dance, and it allows me to break through Vaporeon with Earthquake, as we do with Swords Dance, like 2-shot a lot of Vaporeon sets. So I felt like Swords Dance was the way to go. So I really wanted Swords Dance. I lose out on Rapid Spin, but I kind of adjust the team as a result there. The next Pokemon is our Silvally. It's Fairy type. Originally, I did not have Silvally on the team. I had Weezing on the team, like a physically defensive Weezing, but I felt like this set was better because I wanted Swords Dance on Sandslash, so I needed to bring Defog because of webs. Defog, Silvally, Fairy. It's a pretty defensive set. Its primary job is to stop Heracross from running through my team, and also to get rid of webs, sticky webs. So we have Ice Beam there, we have Air Slash there for Heracross, and Toxic for Vaporeon primarily. Otherwise, Defog is its main job, so it's really going to take a hit and hopefully defog, or maybe scare that Heracross out with being a Fairy type. So, you know, that allows it to take its Bug and its Fighting type moves. Heracross still does run through me though, like he can run Substitute, things like that. We're gonna have to hit that Air Slash against this Heracross, but Ice Beam looks pretty good, and we have a lot of natural bulk, so we should be able to get that defog off if I need it. Next Pokemon is our Victini. Victini is super important in this match because it is our primary wall breaker, and most likely gonna be my lead. Glaciate, Blue Flare, Bolt Strike, Focus Blast. Focus Blast kills the Stack Attacker, and with Victory Star, it does get boosted to 77% accurate instead of 70, so we have that extra 7%. Hopefully that makes a difference, and we can hit those Focus Blasts. Also really important for Incineroar. We can 2-shot Assault Vest Incineroar with Focus Blast, which is really nice. Glaciate for things like Landorus, we 1-shot that, and then Blue Flare, Expert Belt, really good against a lot of his team, as you can probably guess. Bolt Strike with the Expert Belt does 2-shot Vaporeon if he's max physical defense, so that's really cool as well, although there are going to be some guessing games whether or not I Bolt Strike versus Blue Flare, especially with that Thundurus potentially coming in and obviously outspeeding my Victini, which does speed tie with Celebi, but Thundurus will outspeed it, so gotta be careful there. But the Expert Belt also does help us bluff the fact that we might be Choice Scarf, which I think my opponent might be a little scared of, because Choice Scarf Victini does make a little bit of sense against this team, especially with the threat of Sticky Web. So that's the main job for Victini. Most likely going to be my lead, like I said. Unfortunately, in testing, I realized you cannot Glaciate a Ribombee because of its Shield Dust ability. It won't be affected by the speed drop, so you can Glaciate it, but it's not going to do anything in terms of speed drop. So unfortunately, if he leads Ribombee to set up webs, I just Blue Flare it, and we try to knock it out, hopefully get that burn like we did on a Selgor earlier in the season. But our main job is just to try to get rid of the Ribombee as soon as possible. If he leads something like Thundurus, I might just Blue Flare it. If he leads, you know, Landorus, I might just Glaciate it and just go for it. You know, I'm thinking I'm going to need to take some risks in this game. Next Pokemon is Virizion, who's got kind of a weird matchup. Virizion's speed stat is really what stands out in this game. Being able to outspeed things like Thundurus, Landorus, Heracross, Incineroar, pretty much the majority of his team minus, you know, Persian and Ribombee. We outspeed Celebi as well, which is nice. We've got the Stored Stance set, Leaf Blade Close Combat Stone Edge with Rocky MZ. Kind of a standard set that I've been bringing a lot this season. Hasn't really worked too well yet, but this is the standard Virizion set, and I think it makes the most sense here. I was going to run like a especially offensive Calm Mind variant, which I thought was pretty solid, but I really felt like I needed the raw power with Swords Dance to be able to break through his team, and really Virizion's primary job is to help me handle that Vaporeon, because you know, Sandslash I think can win this game if Vaporeon's weakened, but if I don't have the Vaporeon weakened, then Sandslash has a harder time. So we definitely want to make sure we can handle that Vaporeon there. So that's what Virizian's job is going to be. And obviously, outspeeding things like Thundurus, being able to Stone Edge it, and Rocky MZ is really nice. We can also close combat things like Incineroar and Stakataka, so some cool stuff there. And last but not least, Mawile almost didn't make the team this week, but Ribombee is a big threat, man, and Mawile is a huge offensive option as well. So I really felt like Mawile kind of was worth bringing. It's a sort of defensive set. It's actually max HP, max attack with Brave Nature and 0 speed. The objective here is so I can take Gyro Balls a little bit better from Stakataka. I've got the slowest possible Mawile I could have because I really wasn't going to outspeed anything on his team anyway. Brick Break does one-shot Stakataka, which is nice. Play Rough really hurts his whole team, which is nice. Sucker Punch, obviously, for some of the faster things like Thundurus or Landorus, and then Stealth Rock is there for support. I don't think it's going to be that important, though, because, again, my primary focus is to keep the hazards off the field so he doesn't get those webs up. So that's our team there. Core strategy is really just kind of break through his team and then allow Sandslash to run rampant. He may prepare for that. He may have other weather options, some sort of a sunny day user or something like that. So we do have to be very careful there. But I have a core strategy. I did some practicing. Hopefully we can come out with a W, guys. And get excited for the match tomorrow. Hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you're new. That's going to be it for me, guys. My name is Dan. I also go by aDrive. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. Thanks so much for checking out my last video. If you like that one, you'll definitely like this one. And be sure to subscribe for more as I post Pokemon videos every single day.